Ian Huntley is dead, but who is next on the list? Well, Ian Huntley has went to join Ian Watkins and Kyle Bevan. Now, when Ian Watkins was murdered last year inside of HMP Wakefield, I did do a list of prisoners who are high profile, who are in line for prison justice. Because inside of prison, these type of prisoners, although they're kept separate from the inmates or the normal location lads, they are on the VP wing, which is called the vulnerable prisoner, which is ironic because they are anything but vulnerable out in society. They are predators who attack people weaker and children. So when they get sent to prison, when they're in with a bunch of alpha males, they then get put on protection and become the prey. And a lot of the time, just because they're on protection doesn't mean they are protected. Look at Ian Huntley. He was on maximum protection. And what happened to him? His skull was split in two and he is no more. So for that, little Mr. Piggy comes out, the bacon basher comes out for each and every bacon that gets bashed. So, without further ado, who is in for prison justice? And I am going to do a list of 5, even though there is a lot more. These are the 5 that I think are the 5 that are the most high profile and the ones that do deserve the Piggy treatment. But there will be another video where I will do a part 2, because a lot of you will be thinking, well, where is such and such, where's this one, and where is that one? They are all going to get it eventually, but these are the 5 I'm going to talk about today. And the first one, you will have guessed, is none other than Axel Rudekabana. He is an absolute disgusting wrong'un who deserves to be alongside Ian Huntley. And to be, I'm saying alongside him, Ian Huntley is getting turned into ashes. And his daughter said, flush them down the toilet. Which should happen to the rest of these, which I am about to mention. So on the 29th of July, 2024, Axel Rudekabana committed the most outrageous atrocity against a bunch of kids. A mass stabbing targeting young girls occurred at the Heart Space, a dance studio in the area of Southport, Merseyside. Everybody is aware of this case and everybody is aware of that horrid, despicable, you know what, I can't say it too much because it flags up on YouTube. But 17-year-old Axel Rudekabana killed 3 children and injured 10 others. There was uproar after this because of what he'd done, and he is, like I've just said, the worst of the worst. He also injured 10 others at a Taylor Swift-themed yoga and dance workshop attended by 26 children. 2 died at the scene, 6 children injured, 2 adults were taken to hospital in a critical condition, and a 3rd girl died the following day. So, what do you think is going to happen to him? He is now 19-year-old, but he is being protected inside of HMP Belmarsh, in Belmarsh unit, in a special part of the unit. He has also attacked the screws inside the unit, so he is on the highest protection there is. No one can get anywhere near him at the moment. But guess what? Huntley was in the exact same position 20 years ago, or was it 20 years ago, when he committed those murders. That horrible, disgusting has been, because he is no more. He was on the same sort of protection inside of prison because everybody, the normal location lads, wanted Huntley's blood, and they've waited over 2 decades to get it. This is the third time he was attacked, but third time lucky, shall we say. So Axel Ruda Cabana, give him another 2 years when he will go into the mainstream prison system, but he will be on the VP wings. When I say mainstream, I mean out of the segregation unit in Belmarsh. When he turns 21, he'll be heading up to Franklin Prison or Wakefield, one of the two. And as the years go by, a bit like Huntley, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years, he's going to be suffering in that time. He'll be getting tortured in that time. Even if it's not physically, it will be mentally. He will be getting griefed non-stop out of the windows. And when he lands, like I've just said, in the high security estate as an adult, that's when the dynamics will change. And I will keep you updated right here on this channel. So I do believe, like I've just said, when he's 21, he'll head up to Franklin Prison. And guess who is up there inside of Franklin Prison? But even these type of other inmates like Anthony Russell and Absolute Wrong'un could be the ones that do it. Levi Belfield, he is on the list as well. This is in no particular order, but Levi Belfield is an absolute horrid wrong'un as well. Everyone will remember the name Millie Dowler when she went missing. It took a long time before he was actually charged and convicted on this murder, because he is an absolute horrid man. So I'll tell you, Levi Belfield is a British serial killer and sex offender. He was found guilty on the 25th of February 2008 of the murders of Marsha McDonald, and in 2013, Amy Delagrange in 2014, Marsha McDonald, 2013, Amelie Delagrange in 2004, and the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy in 2004, sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. And he is the only inmate that has ever been given 2 whole life orders. Because on the 23rd of June 2011, Levi Belfield was further found guilty of the murder of Millie Dowler in 2002, which took nearly a decade for him to be found guilty and sentenced. In both cases, the judge imposed whole life order, meaning Belfield will serve the sentence without the possibility of parole. Now, the reason why he has been attacked on one occasion, I don't know the full details, but I do believe Gary Vinter got a hold of him inside of Wakefield Prison. And he used to be a bouncer. He is short, stocky, stature build. So a lot of the inmates, he will be, as I've heard from screws inside of Franklin Prison. Obviously, when you're in a prison like Franklin, the screws that work on the bottom wings, which is the bacon wings, then come up onto the top wings and they tell the lads what's going on. They actually say, I fucking hate working down there with them absolute wrong'uns. And obviously prisoners are inquisitive and they say, so what do you like? What's a crack down there? What's going on? And they say is Belfield, obviously, like I've just said, was an ex-bodyguard, short, stocky in stature. I'm saying short, he's 6 foot, but he's stocky, so he looks smaller, and he goes to the gym, he pumps iron, and like I've just said, he's got quite an intimidating force. Because he was a bouncer, he'll know how to handle himself. So the other bacons that are down there will be quite scared of him. Huntley actually latched onto him for a little bit of protection, but he didn't get protected that much, did he? Because he mustn't have been with him on the day of the murder. But guess what? Belfield, one day, will also get that treatment, because there will be another bacon who is just as big and stocky as him, who's doing maybe his life without parole. Someone like Gary Vinter. Gary Vinter could end up down there. Gary Vinter's been moved about the system, and he did become Muslim because he had a lot of trouble inside of prison. But Gary could end up down there, and someone like him or another Bacon that's down there could come across Belfield and think, right, I'm going to be the one that gets the notoriety. I want to be in the papers. I'm bored of this prison sentence. I'm doing life without parole. I want a little bit more notoriety. Where's that weight bar at? Bush, Belfield, you are no more. So he is one of the ones that is on the list. And the other one, which I'm actually going to talk about the other one who's up in Franklin first, because I've got another one up. I spoke about him the other day in a previous video, and since I've done the video on Wayne Couzens, all of the papers, the national papers and the local papers in all the local cities across the country have copied me video and said, because I've heard Wayne Couzens is asking for extra protection, he's on the same wing Huntley was on, so is Levi Belfield, and guess what? He's absolutely shitting himself. He's thinking that he's going to be next. He's asking for extra protection, just like when I done a video about Huntley, when he was asking for extra protection. But guess what? He didn't get it. The only protection he got was from an iron bar. So, Wayne Couzens is asking for the same treatment. Be careful what you ask for, Mr. PC or previous PC Couzens, because you will get the same treatment as Huntley. So he's shitting himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he put himself in the block. Or like what Damien Bendall did. Damien Bendall was on the list. I'm not going to mention him on this list, but he's been on a previous list. And guess what? He was getting paranoid. So in a workshop, he smashed another inmate over the head with a hammer just so he could get out of the equation and get put down the block so he can feel safe, because that's the only place these predators and wrong-uns will feel safe. Will feel safe down the block where they get half-hour exercise a day by themselves. And Wayne Couzens is going to be feeling it. So he is definitely one of the ones on the list. Wayne Couzens was a Metropolitan Police officer that used his authority to get a lady in the back of the car and drove her away. Sarah Everard raped and murdered her in the most horrendous, despicable way, and no one will forget about this case. So Mr. Wayne Couzens, the Bacon, will be feeling the wrath of the prison justice. So the other ones I'm going to be talking about are actually situated inside of Wakefield, which is the original Monster Mansion. And guess what? Out of approximately, there's not 1,000, but I'm just going to round it up to 1,000. Out of 1,000 inmates, 60% are Bacon's horrid, disgusting, worst of the worst, the ones that have ended the lives of little ones before they've actually done disgusting, despicable things to them. And these are inside of Wakefield with no protection. 60% are Bacon's, 40% are normal location prisoners, the majority in for murders, double murders, some serving life without parole, and they are mixed in with these. Just like Ian Watkins was mixed in with the likes of Mark Fellows, who was doing life without parole, who didn't give a fuck and probably felt a little bit in fear being on that wing without protection. So he went on to commit, or allegedly, because he hasn't been found guilty yet, with another 2 inmates just to get off the wing and go and live on a unit. Because when these type of prisoners are living on a unit with about a handful of other inmates, they know, they start to trust them and they think nothing will happen. That is their protection. So, Sarah Payne's killer, who was Roy Whiting, has been attacked on numerous occasions, and Roy Whiting is on the top of the list because he is a high-profile, absolute, disgusting, horrid, wronging, Bacon beast. He murdered 8-year-old Sarah Payne, and this is a case that, again, a bit like Ian Huntley's victims, Hollywell's and Jessica Chapman, you never forget this, because this was in July 2000. I was around about 20 at the time, and I never forgot that case, and I never forget little Sarah Payne's face, absolute angelic little angel who was out playing in Surrey. She disappeared on the evening of the 1st of July 2000 from a cornfield near her home of her grandfather Terence Payne and his second wife Leslie in West Sussex. She had been playing with her two brothers aged 13 and 11 and younger sister aged 5 when she disappeared. A police search of the local area commenced and quickly transformed into a nationwide search and national news story, with members of Sarah's family making daily television and newspaper appeals for her safe return. And that is exactly what I remember, those appeals on the TV. And police officers, numerous volunteers, scoured the area of Littlehampton for clues to Sarah's disappearance. On the 10th of July, police announced they had received information regarding the sighting of a girl matched Sarah's description on the M6 motorway in Cheshire the morning after her disappearance. 3 days later, Michael and Sarah Payne were warned by police to prepare for the worst, explaining that the emphasis of the inquiries had shifted and that there was a possibility that their daughter might not be found safe and well. Police first visited Roy Whiting's Littlehampton flat on the afternoon of the 2nd of July 2000, but he was not there. They returned that evening and questioned him for over an hour. When police returned and Whiting attempted to drive away in his van, he was stopped by police. He spent 2 days in custody, but there was insufficient evidence to press charges and he was released on bail. By that time, police had found a receipt for fuel at the Buckbourne garage on the A24 near Pulborough. The receipt contradicted Whiting's alibi of being at a fun fair in Hove at 5:30 p.m. and then back at his flat at 9:30 p.m. on the night of Sarah's disappearance. After his release, Whiting did not return to his flat and went on to live with his father in Crawley. Unfortunately, on the 17th of July, a body was found in a field near Pulborough, West Sussex, 15 miles from Kingston, where Sarah was last seen. The next day, Sussex police confirmed that the body had been identified of Sarah Payne. 3 days after Sarah's body was found, a shoe was recovered from a roadside in the village of Coolham, 3 miles from Pulborough, and identified of one of those belonging to Sarah Payne. On the 23rd of July 2000, Whiting stole a Vauxhall Nova in Crawley and was pursued by police at speeds up to 70 miles per hour before he crashed into a parked vehicle. He was arrested on charges of car theft and dangerous driving. He was remanded in custody until the 27th of September 2000, when he pleaded guilty to those charges and was jailed for 22 months. While he was in prison, police carried out forensic testing on his white Fiat Ducato van, which he had bought on the 23rd of June 2000. On the 6th of February 2001, following 7 months of investigation, Whiting was charged with the murder of Sarah Payne, and he was also found guilty on the murder, the horrible, despicable wronging what he done to poor 8-year-old Sarah Payne. So he will have his day. He has been attacked on 3 serious fucking different times. One was off Gary Vintner. Gary Vintner pulverised him, took him in the pad, stabbed him, stamped all over his head, tried to stab his eyes out. He said the only reason why he stopped the attack was because he ran out of breath of jumping up and down on top of his body. So Roy Whiting was also attacked on the 4th of August 2002 He was slashed with a razor by another prisoner in HMP Wakefield. In June 2004, convicted murderer Ricky Tregaski was found guilty of carrying out the attack, which left a 6-inch scar on his right cheek. And this was the other one. It was in 2011. Whiting had his eye, was stabbed in the eye by Gary Vinter. The injuries were not life-threatening. No charge was pressed by Whiting and no police investigation undertaken. And again, a third attack on Whiting took place on the 8th of November 2018 when he was stabbed by 2 other prisoners in his cell. He was taken to hospital for treatment, but was returned to prison shortly after in a stable condition for it to happen again. This is the only good thing about them receiving treatment and ended up back in prison so that it can happen again. And on the 11th of February, still at HMP Wakefield, he was attacked again. And it was on Sunday, the 11th of February 2024, police received a call from a member of staff at HMP Wakefield reporting a male prisoner had been stabbed. His injuries were described as minor. They were described as minor, but he was attacked ferociously and he was left screaming under his bed, shouting, "Help, help, he's attacking me." And his attacker was took to court, and I can't find it on here, but his name was Lighting. I believe it was an attempted murder charge because of what he said to the screws afterwards. This is the mistakes they make. They said, "I wanted to kill him," but he went on to say he didn't mean it. Unfortunately, when I made the video as well, covering the case, he just got done with the Section 18 GBH with intent and not the attempted murder. So Roy Whiting is due for some more prison justice, and I will keep you updated on that one, people. And another one, this is what I mean by these type of prisoners. These are only the high profile ones. I will cover ones that haven't been made as high profile. But this one was also truly shocking. The disappearance of April Jones, murdered by Mark Bridger, who is a horrible, despicable yak. I can't even go into what he is as well. He's as bad as all the other ones that I've spoke about. But for those of you that don't know the case, I will go over it before I speak a little bit more about that wronging that will get prison justice. So April Jones was a Welsh child from Machynlleth Powys who disappeared on the 1st of October 2012 after being sighted getting into a vehicle near her home. Her disappearance at the age of 5 generated a large amount of national and international press coverage. Mark Bridger was arrested and later charged with April's murder. On the 30th of May 2013, Mark Bridger was found guilty of April's abduction and murder. In addition to perverting the course of justice, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a whole life order, meaning he will spend the rest of his life in prison, shitting himself, full of anxiety, waiting for the next attack. But April Jones, when there was a massive inquiry, there was a massive search into her murder, and her remains have never been found. That disgusting, horrible, horrible man has never actually said where her remains are, and he has been attacked in prison. He was attacked most recently when I done a video on that, but the prisoner that done it must have been a feeble bacon himself, because it wasn't very much of an attack. He was left with minor injuries, and the prisoner who done it in front of the screws. So the screws initially dived on him and stopped the attack. Why didn't you wait until the screws were either sitting having a cuppa or dealing with someone else and you could have went into a pad with them, then it would have been a different story. It could have been like Kyle Bevan, where they went into a pad with him, garroted him, choked him, bashed him, put him in the bed so it looked like he was asleep, and covered him up. But these stories will be coming out soon enough, people. Believe you me, those 5 that I've just mentioned, obviously I did mention another one, Damien Bendel, but I didn't go into that case, which I will do somewhere a little more down the line, because there is a part 2 coming up very soon, people. But those 5 despicable bacons that I have mentioned, Axel Rudicabana, Levi Belfield, Roy Whiten, Mark Bridger, obviously I mentioned Damien Bendall, but Wayne Cousins as well. All the 5, the ones that I spoke about, the cases, will be facing prison justice without a doubt. They are serving massive sentences. Most of them that I've just mentioned are serving life without parole, apart from Axel Rudicabana, but he might as well be. Roy Whiten isn't serving life without parole, but he will never be released. Levi Belfield, 2 whole life orders. So maybe he goes to the gym and he's quite stocky and people might be afraid to do anything. But what is going to happen when he's 70-year-old? He doesn't train anymore. He's becoming frail, and young prisoners come on the scene. Will they be afraid to attack him? I doubt it. But I will bring you the gossip and the news direct here, people, on Behind Bars TV. This little piggy won't be going to market. It'll be coming out on here to tell you about the bacons that have been bashed. Now then, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go down, double check, hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. And as usual, if you are enjoying the content, remember to comment and like. Enjoy the rest of your day, people, but most importantly, stay safe.